What is up? What is up, Straight Talk Society? This is your host, Trevor, and I'm back with another episode of Pause and Reflect. Good morning, Shalom. Man, I do apologize for being late, and I do apologize for missing Monday, man. It was WrestleMania weekend, and I was up extremely late, so I couldn't get here early enough. But the topic of today's show is stop apologizing for growing. That's the topic of today's show. Stop apologizing for growing. Listen, when a man starts healing and setting boundaries and thinking bigger, it makes other people uncomfortable. So hopefully today I want to encourage some of you guys to stop shrinking. Morning to you, Keela. Stop shrinking yourself just to keep the peace. Man, listen, I could just end right there. Stop shrinking yourself just to keep the peace and fully embrace the evolution. And I want you to know this may hurt a little bit, it may get uncomfortable, but your growth may cost you some relationships, but it won't cost you your purpose. If things are naturally, humans are supposed to grow. You're never supposed to be stagnant. You're never supposed to stay in the same environment. If you plant a tree, I'm a big planter I buy pineapples and then I cut the tops off, put them in some dirt, and in a year I got another pineapple. If that pineapple didn't sprout, then I know I did something wrong. And that's what some of you guys need to do. The pineapple is going to take its natural course. It's not going to stop growing. It's not going to stop being a pineapple. It's not going to apologize to the plant next to it. I got 3 pineapples growing, and then I have a lime tree. The lime tree is not concerned with what the pineapple's doing. As basic as I could put that. So we got to stop shrinking ourselves to make people feel good. Is one thing, again, we always talk about is one thing about being confident versus being arrogant. And as long as you aren't doing things out of arrogance and you're doing things out of, you're just confident, you're growing in your season. You're not hurting anybody. Don't ever dumb yourself down for anybody. If people can't accept who you are and the elevation that you're going to, then it may be time to just disappear from those people. I love you from a distance. It is okay. Listen, in all things you do, if you don't listen to anything I say this morning, in all things you do, protect your peace, even if it means losing friends. Protect your peace, even if it means losing family members. Because you came in here by yourself, you're going to leave by yourself. And the worst thing you need to do is not tap into your potential just because you want to stay on the same level as everybody else, not to make things, uncomfortable. But let's get into in today's scripture so I can move on, because I am a little behind in time. And we're coming from the book of Galatians. And by the way, there will be a special edition of Man Talk Monday tonight. We didn't get to do it Monday because I was celebrating my anniversary. But we're going to do the show tonight. We're coming out of Galatians 1:10. For do I now persuade men or God, or do I seek to please men? For if I yet please men, I should not be a servant of Christ. Do I seek to please men, or do I seek to please God? For if I yet please men, I should not be a servant of Christ. Scripture is plain there. I keep harping on this so much. I don't know why I keep saying this, but we're such people pleasers. We try to please people so much that really don't care enough about us. Like we're putting in more effort to please people than they're reciprocating. So let's get into it. Growth isn't always pretty. It's not always popular, but you don't owe anybody an apology for becoming better. Growth is disruptive. It exposes those who want you to stay the same. People miss the version of you that needed them. Oh my God, right there. Again, another drop the mic moment. People want you to stay the same because they always feel like you need them. And the minute they realize you don't need them, you watch how things start to shift. You watch how things start to shift. You look at the Eagles. Let's take the Eagles for example. When the Eagles are born, they're up in the nest and the mother's feeding them and, she's doing everything. But there comes a time, as it does in everything, natural evolution, where the mother starts to stir that nest and she makes it very uncomfortable for those baby Eagles. She's not feeding them as much. She'll take them higher and she'll drop them to try to force them to fly. And as long as people think that you need them or you're not going to get better than them, then they're okay with it. But the minute you start showing that sign that, man, I could do more than this, or man, I'm going to do this, I want to do things this way, then it starts to become very uncomfortable. You're not wrong for making changes. You're not wrong for outgrowing your situation. Healing means setting boundaries. You got to set your boundaries. I always tell people, I limit access to me. I don't allow, morning to you, Jackie. I don't allow everybody to get into my personal space. It is very hard to get in contact with me, because when I shut off, then I will shut off everything. Because I don't allow people to get in contact with me. And when you're not readily available for everyone, then it causes them to get, they get kind of emotional. They get disturbed. But again, you're just growing. I mentioned a few weeks ago, muscles don't grow until you complete the entire cycle, until you pick the weight up and then put it back down. That's when the muscles start growing. And that's what we need to do. It is okay sometimes to outgrow certain situations. Like I said, whether it's a family, whether it's a friend, it is okay. It is okay. You're not obligated to be in relationships your entire life. You aren't. And don't let anybody tell you, outside of your wife, but don't let anybody tell you that you're obligated to stay in a relationship that is not healthy. And hell, I would go so far as to say, even if that marriage isn't healthy, but you're not obligated with that. It is okay to outgrow some things. I wear a size 12 or 13 in some cases. I wear 13 in Nikes. I can't put on a size 12 because it won't fit. It does not fit. And sometimes certain situations just don't fit anymore. It's not a good fit. It is okay though. It is okay. You don't love anybody any less. You just realize it doesn't fit. I love Nikes. That's all I own. But I can't wear a size 12 because it just does not fit. You got to start moving forward without some guilt, man. As men, women, you got to start moving forward without guilt. You're not leaving people behind because you're growing, because you want to do new things. You're making room to rise. You're making room for your bigger. You're making room. You're expecting more. Scripture says you can't put old wine and you can't put new wine in old skins. You got to make room. You got to make room for things. Jackie, I can't read this comment because this thing is oh man, it won't get out of the way. I'm trying to, oh man. All right, I can't read it until the next one bumps it up, because there's this link on my screen that I can't get off. But yeah, you're not leaving people behind, man. You're just making room to rise. Listen, sometimes you got to be selfish. You got to be selfish with your intentions. Be selfish and think about yourself. How many men are laying in graves right now? because they decided to stay the status quo. They decided to never do anything just because they wanted to stay in their circle. They never wanted to outgrow their circle. They never wanted to advance. They never wanted to take that step and do anything in life to make them better because of fear of upsetting people. What about you, though? Ask yourself that question. What about you? What about you? Ask yourself, hey, what about me? What about me? At some point in life, God willing, we all live long lives. At some point in your life, you got to be selfish and focus on you. Not at the risk of manipulating people and using people, but you have to be focused on your life and put you first. It is okay. I can't stress it enough. It is okay to think about yourself. It is okay. Listen, man, if people can't love you healed, listen, I want you to hear what I'm about to say. Hear what I'm about to say. I've been dropping nothing but nuggets today, but hear this one. If people can't love you healed, they never truly loved you. Growth is about healing. We always get older, hopefully, if a person has problems, the worst thing is if, as a man, you're in a relationship and you were so dependent on your woman. We know those situations where men are just so dependent on their woman gives them money, their women buys all their clothes, the woman does everything for them. And then finally it comes a time where this man gets on his feet, he starts working, he does things, and now that woman starts to feel threatened because now he's dependent now to where he's doing things on his own and he doesn't need her as much as he used to. And it's like, the whole time that she could control him with the money, and she, anytime he would get out of line, she'd throw a couple dollars at him. But now that he's making his own money, she's like, well, man, what else do I have to control him with? That's how it is in some friendships. As long as you need people to do things, as long as people need you to do things, or people feel like you need me to do X. You can't progress without X. You need this. But the minute you start growing and branching out and doing things on your own, then it makes people uncomfortable. And to that, I say good riddance. It is okay. It's okay. Life will go on. Things will continue to progress. It is okay. I don't know why they're calling me. I don't start work before a certain time, but life will go on. Things will continue to progress. It's okay to grow. Just start growing. Don't be afraid to grow. Stop apologizing. Stop being sorry for progressing in life. Just stop. And start being appreciative that you're in a position that you could grow, that you could branch out, that you could do new things. Man, and I promise you, your life will be so much better. You don't need permission to grow. You just need the courage to keep on going. Even if you got to do it alone. Some men don't ever grow up. They're still immature. Absolutely, Cap. Morning to the Cap. Hey, Cap, I did see you live yesterday. I didn't get to watch it because I was setting up a debate last night, but I do have it saved so I could watch it today while I'm at work. Yeah, man, y'all make sure and subscribe to Captain Azariah's channel, man. Fire teachings. But yeah, man, you gotta you stop, don't be afraid to grow, man. That's my overarching thing today. And today's not even going to be long because I'm almost out of here. But don't be afraid to grow. You don't need permission to grow. Growth is a natural progression in life. growth is a natural progression in life, and you can't be afraid to grow, man. You listen. I'm gonna tell you. So I have, again, I love, that's what I'm telling you, man. The God is so great because he uses nature and all those things just to show you just basic life examples. I have these two gigantic mango trees in my backyard. At some point they started out as just a seed. And and in addition to the mango trees that we have, there's also power lines that run from yard to yard in my backyard. So guess what? The power lines have to be there to supply power, but the mango tree is like, hey, I share the same space, so I need to grow also. So the power line's not moving out of the way, and the mango tree is not refusing to grow. So the power line, the mango tree is now going to finagle its way through the power lines in order to grow, to provide fruit. What's up, Ricardo? Listen, so it even though the power line presents, man, just as circular as I can say this, even though the power line presents an obstacle, the mango is still not going to dumb itself down and say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to grow anymore because I see this power line here. What the mango tree is saying, hey, even though I see these power lines, my branches are now going to spread out this way. It's going to duck under this way. It's going to go over this way, so as not to interfere with the power line, but not to let the power line stop it. My God, man, I'm telling you, man, you just listen. The whole purpose of pause and reflect was just happened because of me remembering a day where me and my daughter were running late for church, and we were going downstairs. This is before we bought our house. We were going downstairs of our apartment, and I turned around and she just stopped, and she stopped to pick a flower off the tree, and she said, Daddy, sometime you got to stop and smell the flowers. My God, that's where the whole pause and reflect thing came from. Sometime, man, you just got even a problem. Don't look at problems as something that's going to stop you. Don't look at a problem as something that's going to stop you. Look at it as an opportunity to grow. Look at it as an opportunity to pivot. Some MMA fighters, when they fight a guy that they're so outmatched against, if you have a good team, a good coach, you change your strategy. You change your strategy. You change some things up. That's all I'm saying to you today, man. You got to change some things up. Don't be afraid to change some things up. Don't be afraid to pivot. Don't let the family members and the friends pose the obstacle as the power line to keep you stagnant and keep you not growing. There's always a way. You know, they always say where there's a will, there's a way. And that is absolutely true. As long as there's a will, there is a way. Just look at, I mean, I don't know why I'm so much on plans today, but my God, man, when you plant a thing, you plant it under the ground. So what you essentially do is you bury it. And man, how many of us have been buried? How many of us have they rolled off? How many of us have they been like, you know what? That's it for him, right? Let's wrap him up. Let's wrap him up. There's no coming back from him this time. But over time, guess what happens? That seed starts to bud. And that little seed, through all that dirt that's packed under it, just somehow finds its way up and it breaks ground. Oh my God, man. Oh my goodness, man. Whoa, man. I don't know what's going on this morning, man, but I don't know why I can't stay away from these plans. I just feel like somebody needs to hear this morning, that you listen, your friends pack dirt on you, your families pack dirt on you, and listen, they don't even know that they did it. They did it by not allowing you to spread your wings. They did it by every time that you say you're going to do something, they're telling you that it's not going to work. They did it by every time you say, hey, I'm going to go in this direction, they give you that look like, oh, but you're going to leave us. Well, you're going to leave us behind. You're not a real friend. They pack the dirt on you, but hey, you got to be like that seed and you got to bust through that ground. You got to bust through that ground. It's dirty. It gets dirty sometimes. Listen, it's dirty that, hey, and listen to this one. Nobody's admiring you once you're underground, because nobody's admiring you once you have to fight. When you're underground and you're being packed with dirt and you're buried and you got to fight your way through, nobody ever sees the fight. They never see the fight. But oh my God, do they admire you when you bust that ground? When that plant begins to sprout and you look and you're like, oh man, what I'm telling you, I don't know why I got such a green thumb, but even if I buy bell peppers, I'll just take the seeds, dry them out, plant them. You know, last year I had a whole bell pepper tree growing in front of my front yard. But it always started out from a little seed. It always started out from a thought. It always started out from a thought. Oh, look, I can't see this link is right here, man. I can't see. Ricardo saying they should bring forth fruit in old age, and then I gotta wait till it bumps up because I can't see the rest of it. But something 92 and 14, so I'm assuming that's Psalm. Yeah, Psalm 92 and 14. But yeah, man, I'm telling you, man, you gotta stop being afraid to grow. Just stop being afraid to grow. Stop being afraid to grow and stop apologizing for growing. You don't owe anybody anything. You don't owe anybody anything. And like I said, if it's gonna cost you friends because you're growing, then they probably weren't really your friends to begin with. Let's see what this says. Psalm 92 and 14. They shall bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing. Man, so y'all got Ricardo in here dropping scripture. I'm telling you, there is not a thing in the world that you can't find in the Bible. And I don't know what's with all the fruit and planting and all that analogy. I don't know where that all came from today, but it is much needed, man. But y'all heard the first bell. I'm about to wrap up. I didn't plan to be before you real long. And again, I do apologize for not being here Monday, because this was supposed to be Monday's show. But just think about that. Whoever's coming in late, I want you to go back and listen, man. Stop apologizing for growing. Stop apologizing for growing, because if you're not growing, then you're actually failing. You're failing yourself. You're failing your family. And you know what? You're failing those same friends that are trying to keep you stagnant. Because maybe, just maybe, if they see you grow, it'll force them to grow. Hey, but what do I know, man? I'm just a man with the microphone and the loud mouth. Hopefully everybody enjoys their day, man. It's hump day. Take it easy. Be safe out there, everybody, man. Hey, try loving somebody, man. It is so much easier. And we will see you guys tonight for Man Talk Monday. Like I said, we had to postpone Monday's show because of my anniversary, so we're gonna do it tonight. Special edition of Man Talk Monday. And we also have a couple of debates lined up coming for you this Saturday, one next Thursday. I just set up another one last night, so we got a couple of debates coming for you, man. So just stay tuned to the channel, see what's going on. Hey, man. I'll leave you with these words in my closing: always seek out the truth for yourself, because if not, you'll fall victim to other people's interpretations of them. Until tonight, peace.